Oh, we're losing the car. All right, so I'm stripping out some rocker arm cores here. Figure I'd share what a LS rocker arm bearing looks like. Little guy like that right there. This little guy here. Little tiny fellas. It's an inner and outer sleeve. Nobody really posts what these things look like from the factory. There you go. Check this out. Garage is cleaner. Well, we'll not worry about the little marshmallow car sitting there. You never measure enough when you're doing these things. I took these bolts, slid them in the holes, slid the torque box forward till the shank hit the frame on the factory hole. And I tagged her in with some some wood screws. Checked her. Yep. Straight edge. Make sure the torque boxes are square with each other. Then I strung line it with some MIG wire. And I made sure that they were true. If you notice, right there, she's got a gap. But it's equal on this side also. Zip around here. Anyway, if you notice, it's an equal gap on this side. The frame rails on these things aren't dead square. They're cantered just a little bit. But they're the same on both sides. So I did the typical measuring off my bolt holes, do various pieces on the car, and off the torque boxes themselves to various, points on the car. Tagged her in with wood screws, just to hold her. I still got to clean the frame up, take them back off. But I wanted to get them squared up. And I put the one in, and I squared this one to that one. So these are sort of in the factory location. These holes are a tiny bit behind, and those holes are a tiny bit forward from it. But there we go. I'll keep on measuring them out. Make sure they're true and square. Make sure they're good. I'm going to get that piece off of there tonight. Clean her up a bit. Throw the center one on. Hang the axle in there. I got to start coming up with a plan for that. I got to start coming up with... Alright. So a lot of junk in this thing. More garbage falling out of it. Once these guys are welded in, once that's welded in, that's welded in. This cross member's welded in, and the cross member for the shocks, the coilovers. Then I can start thinking about cutting other stuff out of the car. I got to sink her into the floor a little bit. And I can't cut the floor. I can't cut any of the floor out. Well, it's still hanging off of the rotisserie. Because I need to get these welded in first. So if I cut this section out and start messing around with that, then I have pretty much just these tacks on this frame rail and this quarter structure holding the car together. So tie this all together. I'll double check all my measurements. Clean that crap off of there. I want to get the axle housing square because I still have to do my upper brackets off that housing. And I'm kind of in the mood for that. I'll worry about the cage later. Yeah, I'm kind of going waves. Whatever I'm in the mood for, eh? So, oh, get this out of here. I still have to take these out and open up those holes on the inner frame. But there you go. It's really important that these two torque boxes are true with each other. These cars are built in assembly lines and they're not. You can see the tin is misaligned here and there, and plus the years of activities. So don't square it to the actual car. Square it to the chassis. Square, if that makes any sense. Like, don't square it to rippled body panels and floor structures. Find a common point and square everything to that. But there we go. Got that. And it's pulled tight. Trust your those holes. You know, you could measure all day long and be a 16th or an 1/8 out, depending what pivot points or what pickup points you know, you can measure this all day and be out in a 16th or an 1/8, depending what point you measure from. So we got those guys sort of in place. Tack that guy in place, measured them out. All right, so we're going to build a stand to kind of mount the axle in the wheel well. And then I need to know where the center of that housing goes, because I got to build the upper mounts. These guys, I got to break them off, and then I got to move them to line up properly. But I knew that. We weren't interested in... We actually didn't care about where these went. We cared about where this guy went. And this still loose, right? So everything's still lined up. I need to know where the housing sits between the frame rails. So we're gonna make a stand. I figure about 5 inches from here to the bottom of this guy. I'll clamp her down, and then we'll make our rod ends. And then we'll move these guys out. We'll center that up. These aren't welded in yet. And they're not going to be. We're going to mock everything up first. Make sure she's all good. And then the entire back will be done. Like, we'll weld everything up all at once. And then we'll address the cage. So we have pretty much the front taken care of. The back taken care of. And then we'll take the middle. We'll take care of the middle stuff. And then... all right. So yeah, there we go.